Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3:01 p.m. So close to being on time today. Sorry about that, guys. 3:01 p.m. It's still time for a live stream here in Chicago. Today is Fat Tuesday, February 16th, 2021. And because it's a Tuesday, it is going to be a Trivia Tuesday. Because it's Fat Tuesday, that's going to be the topic for today, Fat Tuesday. Sorry, guys. I wanted to make sure I got here on time. So still like fiddling around with a couple of things just to get like kind of set up here, like camera angle's not quite right. I gotta tell you, I'm starting to get kind of fatigued over just having to reset up and set up this stuff every day. So I got to get over that, but I'm here. I'm gonna focus. Sorry about that, guys. Let's recenter. Let's get restarted. Let's say hi to everybody in the podcast version. Hope you guys are having a good run in the audio only version and staying dry and warm and safe out there. I feel like the entire country basically is covered under some snow. So hope everyone's doing well. And for everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, welcome, and I hope you're having a good day. All right, CV76 says, yes, first world problems. That's for sure. That's definitely for sure. All right. Oh, Remy's here. Good to see you, Remy. I was just thinking about you today. I felt like I haven't seen you. Maybe I just haven't seen you or noticed you in the chat, but I felt like you haven't been here in a while. So good to see you back. He says he finally gets to be here at the start for the first time in a long time, and here we are. Awesome. Very cool. All right. Affluent Journeys wants to know, what do you do to fix trashed quads post-race? I would say get some protein in if you can do that like pretty quick. And then after that, I stay rehydrated. And I think about it as flushing. You want to flush the system. Nothing too rigorous, but make sure you're getting lots of electrolytes back. And as soon as you're able, not as soon as you're able, but at a reasonable time, do some active recovery. Nothing that's going to be too rigorous, but like things to get those legs moving. The contraction of the muscles is what flushes them out. And so like that's why like moving and having like active recovery can be better for your recovery than just sitting around and doing nothing, which, could make some intuitive sense to do that instead. So that's kind of what I would do to fix quads post race. The other thing you want to do is in terms of getting further along in the lines of the flushing is either get a massage or do poor man's massage, which is sit on the floor, like with your back, lay down on the back on the floor, but like with your butt and legs, but like against the wall and legs sticking straight up in the air. Let gravity drain all that stuff out of your legs so that you can recover for the next one. So there you go. All right. Ryan Polly says, this is the first time in a while I didn't get the pre-live stream notification on the phone. That's because I was running late today and I didn't set up the stream or schedule it ahead of time until like 5 minutes ago. So I'm running a little bit behind on stuff today. So apologize for that. Martha says, for trash quads, in addition, stretching out, but agree with Mike, do some walking until you can do some easy jogging. There you go. There you go. Yes. Corey Allen says, hello, everyone. Another 4 inches of snow in Milwaukee. Ooh, yeah. I mean, we got dumped snow on yesterday. I thought there was only supposed to be like anywhere between 3 and 6 inches yesterday. But over the course of the day yesterday, we easily got closer to a foot of snow in Chicago. And it is pretty intense. Today for my run, I didn't go out on the lakefront because I was like, there's no way they plowed that. Because I'm just looking at, I live by main artery of the city. And I'm like, if that's my barometer, if that main street isn't that well plowed, then the rest of the city is trash because that's one of the major thoroughfares. And so I was looking at that. I'm like, buses are having a hard time getting through there. So I'm like, there's no way the lakefront path is going to be cleared. So I just ran on surface streets today. And even that was difficult at a lot of times. So, yeah. All right. Sean Marshall says, for trash quads, I always just have the hippies, some garbage bags, and take away their heckies. Yeah. I think I went to say, I just give the hippies some garbage bags. That's funny. Yeah, it's a nice dad joke. I didn't get to it. I didn't pick up on it until all the way through. So that was nice. All right. Okay. So I got to go get my questions. I got to get the Google Drive. I'm such a dork. I break down the questions on a Google doc, or what do they call it? Docs? Yeah, Google Doc. So I do that. So I got to get that ready. But yeah, let me get the first question out. Because basically I want to talk about like the thumbnail for today. I got cake on there. It's not a king cake or anything like that. It's just a cake that we had around our house, but I thought it would fit for the theme for today. So let's start getting to some of these questions because I think that would be kind of fun. All right. We got Rod Marco saying hello from the Philippines, guys. So before I get to that, very cool. Welcome, Mark. Welcome, Rod. And Mr. Random says, hello, family. I hope all is well. Cool. And Mark wants to know, do you run near that mirror kidney bean? What is that? It's called Cloud Gate. Everyone calls it the bean. It is one of my favorite pieces of, I guess, sculpture, art, whatever you want to call it. I run by that thing. I normally run by that thing all the time. When I would run commute, I would normally swing by there because it would make my run a little bit longer if I cut through there. And in the afternoon, sometimes there's a bunch of tourists, sometimes there's not. Either way, it's kind of fun. And it's a giant metallic structure that was kind of like buffed out and chromed in much. And it reminds one of the things that always reminds me of is that movie about what's his name? The pilot. The pilot that went crazy, the rich guy. What's his name? He made the Spruce Goose, but he looked at airplanes and was like, why are these rivets here? We got to buff them out and like smooth them out. Anyway, that's the Cloud Gate structure. I love it. It's just super reflective. So yeah, right now though, it seems like it's frequently like barricaded off to prevent people from like congregating around it for COVID reasons. So like I've been by Millennium Park, which is a park where that sculpture sits, a handful of times, and every time I go by it just kind of looks like I could find my way in there, but like, I mean, I've run by that thing probably literally 100 times. So I don't need another shot and risk kind of like pissing people off. So yeah, I normally run by it a lot. All right. So let's get to the first question for today. And I'm going to do some copy pasting here. So I apologize for that. All right, let's get to the, here's a trivia question number 1. So it being Tuesday, and the Chicagoans will know this one, but I feel like people outside of Chicago might not know this. So the question is, what is the Polish pastry that Chicagoans go crazy for on Fat Tuesday? Does anybody know that? I didn't know it before I came to Chicago, that's for sure. And it took me several years before I even like really kind of like figured it out or like learned much about it. Just because my neighborhood is, I don't know. Lakeview is not like the most like ethnically authentic of places. So, you don't get like a ton of that. It's a lot of Chicago transplants in the area. So I didn't find out about it until later. But let's see if anyone else here knows. Ooh, here we go. Mark Jango says, is it pizza? It's kind of close. I pronounced close to that. Carl J, I think you're talking about the right thing. Well, that's not like the spelling that I'm aware of. All right. But I think people got it. Oh, yeah. Martha got that pilot. Howard Hughes and the Spruce Goose. That's who I was thinking of. Right. All right. Louis Becerra coming in with 1492 as always. This microphone sounds weird today. But I think Corey Allen had it first. The punch key. Oh, that's not the spelling that I'm aware of. The spelling that I'm aware of is Paczki. So I mean, it's a spelling of a Polish word. So who knows? I'm pretty sure I'm not saying it completely right, but I think I'm kind of in the area. Bert Leguez says vodka. It's kind of that. I mean, maybe that's not that close or not that far. So there you go. So that's why I think Carl J was talking about the right thing. Ryan Luoma had it as well, and that's the spelling that I'm more familiar with. And because like that, look, it looks spelled like it's kind of close to pizza. So I don't think pizza is necessarily the wrong answer. Oh man. So there we go. Yeah, Carl J had the correct spelling, or the more commonly known spelling. Yes. All right. Cool. Yeah. All right. Sean has a comment about when he used to work at a New Orleans restaurant, but we'll get to that later because that's coming up later in the chat or in the trivia as well. Yeah. And Martha says kolaches. It's delicious, but I don't think that's the word that not what I was looking for. Ryan Polly, this is a great wrong answer though. Chicago dog flavored Hot Pockets. That'd be amazing. Hot Pockets should totally do that. They should go around and do they already do that? Because I feel like I want to say there's a cheesesteak Hot Pocket already. So they should just go around and have like they should make a Minnesota one. It'll just be like a hot dish, hot pocket, and then like a Chicago dog hot pocket, and then New York would just be like a pizza one, I guess. That'd be pretty funny. And then like, I don't know, the one from California would have like avocados in it or something like that. That'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of fun. All right. Corey Allen says there's even a Punchki beer brewed in Milwaukee. Is there really? I didn't know that. Very cool. Very cool. I think something that most people don't realize, and something that I still frequently kind of like forget, is just how close Milwaukee is to Chicago. Like geographically, they're very close cities. And I feel like that's something that like is not taken advantage of nearly enough. It's a great city. I'm a big fan. All right, so let's get to question number 2 because it's related to the Punchki. And I feel like this is, really good just trivia. So we'll go with it for trivia. All right, let me paste it in there. So we talk about Punchkis being like the big tradition in Chicago, presumably in Poland as well. And basically, people will say it's like a pastry filled with either like a custard or a fruit. I've only seen it filled with fruit. People say it can be filled with a custard, kind of like a Boston cream pie or like a jelly donut. This is kind of like in that like family. So people get the whole bunch of them and eat them on Fat Tuesday. But why did the Punchki, I keep saying Patchki, but it's Punchki. Why did the Punchki tradition start? So like why do we have those on Fat Tuesday? I mean, Lent is clearly the reason, but like there's a more specific reason than that I think is pretty interesting. Ryan giving us a little bit more context on the Punchkis. They're basically jelly donuts. I think they're traditionally filled with plum jelly or something similar, but the ones I got are raspberry and vanilla cream. I think I've only had ones that are raspberry, and they are so good. I've not gone to like a Polish bakery to get them. I've only got them in like when I go to like other grocery stores and they just have them in like plastic like the clear plastic clamshells, and you get like 4 of them or 6 of them in a container. But even then, I feel like those are like they clearly look like they're locally made, and like the stickers are all from like someplace up north side of the city. So where is it north? I don't know, but somewhere with a Chicago address. So it's come from close. But they're very good. All right. So why did they start making them? Bert says because they ran out of vodka. Brett says because someone tried to bring a goat to a baseball game. That could be funny. That'd be amazing if that was like some sort of it started out as penance for the curse of the goat. That'd be interesting. Oh yeah, Corey, you got it. I mean, I think Corey said you said you're Polish, so Corey's definitely the one. Sean Marshall says there's a way to preserve fruit. I think that's how like the filling would have started, but Corey's got the answer, at least that I had, and the answer that I have is from a local news segment where they interviewed a Polish baker today, or maybe yesterday. I can't remember when I saw the video, but she said that it was because you had to empty all the cabinets of fats and lards for Lent, so like all the butter and lard and stuff. So yeah, and that's why the pastry is so delicious too, and so like puffy, and because there's lard in it. Good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Witchcraft Lady says it's just a Berliner. Is it? I'm not sure. I don't know like my pastries well enough. Yeah. Martha says we had pancake talk on Strava today. Yeah, pancakes is also a very popular food to eat for today on Fat Tuesday. But with that in mind, I did have the thumbnail with cake, and I got coffee for myself. I felt like, Fat Tuesday will indulge a little bit. I've been trying to cut out some of the late afternoon coffees, but I'm like, today's a good day for it, and I'm going to have some of this cake. My daughters make Valentine's Day cake, and my daughters and my wife. So I feel like it's not a Fat Tuesday cake, but, we'll go for it. I want to say that there's not always cake lying around the house, but with 2 daughters, there kind of usually is cake around. This cake's a little dried out, to be honest. I feel like someone didn't cover it up properly, but it goes well with coffee. Sean Marshall says, I love pastries, and who doesn't? But they do all taste the same, basically. That's funny. Sean Marshall says, I honestly didn't know it was Fat Tuesday until 5 minutes ago. You know, Fat Tuesday and like Mardi Gras are kind of like very depressing for me right this year, or like this time, because I feel like St. Patrick's Day, which is like also like Mardi Gras, St. Patrick's Day, this is all when like, I guess maybe not for Fat Tuesday, but like when I start thinking about some of like the early spring celebrations, then I'm like, oh, there are some things that have now been canceled twice because of the pandemic. Like they've already like canceled like the Chicago St. Patrick's Day parade, and now they're doing it like twice. And so it's like, ooh, that's kind of like a, that hits a little bit different, you know? So I've been kind of thinking about that. All right. We got a super chat in here from Les Cuis. Just coming in with a super chat. Thanks. I appreciate it so much. If you have a question or something or comment something I can address, let me know. But thank you very much. I really appreciate super chat. Thank you. All right. Yeah. So let's get to the next question for today, because that's when we really start getting into some cakes. So, and it'll kind of get into what Sean Marshall was talking about earlier. I don't think I highlighted that comment for you guys, so you guys don't know what I'm talking about yet. But here we go. So we talk about the punch keys, which is what people have in Chicago. But there is a New Orleans version of that, or kind of like the same idea, a pastry that you eat on Fat Tuesday. Not to say that like the New Orleans thing is an iteration of the punch key, but there's something similar that you eat on Fat Tuesday. It's called the king cake. And this pastry, I have a typo there. And this pastry usually has a small baby figurine baked inside. So like you got a cake. It's usually in the shape of a ring, I believe. I think I've maybe eaten king cake one time, maybe 2 times in my life. I believe it's a shape of a ring, kind of like a flattened bundt cake almost. But so you eat this king cake, and there's a baby figurine inside. What happens when and you don't know where it is. So like when it gets sliced, and if you eat your cake and there's a baby inside, what happens when you get the slice with the baby? Brett Reed says, you have to run a 5K. That's a funny one. I like that one. Oh man. Yeah, I think you guys all know it. But and this is the thing that I always thought it was, but I was reading up on it today. Something else that makes a little bit more sense to celebrate it, like, and like why is there a baby in here and it's called a king cake, you know? So some of you guys are saying it's an unexpected trip to the dentist. It could be. And Sean Marshall's comment earlier was he said he used to work in a restaurant where they served the king cake, and he always thought it was a weird potential liability to serve that. I totally agree, because it's small. It's like a little tiny thing. It's like a very small, hard piece of plastic. Very easy to swallow, I think, or chip. But Goku Runners got it. In terms of there's 2 things that happens if you are at the king cake. One is you buy the next year's king cake or at the next party. Yeah. So that's what I thought it was. I thought it was like whoever gets it like buys next, you know, and a couple of people have it. Inez Gonsalves says you buy the cake next year. Yeah. So that's kind of what I thought. Ben White says it thinks it means you're pregnant. I love that. Martha says you'll be reincarnated to 1492. Awesome. But Larry Lawrence also says you buy next year's cake. That's what I thought too. But something else, and I don't think anyone else wrote this, but I was reading today that like it's called a king cake because whoever gets the baby in the cake or the thing, you get to be like kind of king for the day. Or kind of, I equate it to what in my wife's family, they call it birthday privileges. So like if it's your birthday, like you gotta kind of get to make all the decisions for the day kind of thing. It's your day. So that's kind of what I've been equating it to. So if you get the king cake, you get to be the king for the day, and you get to eat more of the cake, I guess. I think. I'm not sure. But that was what my research has shown. All right. Hartono Tai says, do you watch what you eat? Or are you one of those lucky people who never get fat? Plus, of course, with your running. You know, I kind of subscribe to more of like a everything in moderation kind of approach. I don't I very rarely eat red meat. I don't usually eat like beef. I try to stay away from pork. I sometimes will eat, chicken or turkey, something like that. I'm a social carnivore kind of, or social omnivore, but generally I like to stay plant-based. If I'm very active, and if I weren't, I've put on weight before. And so like, it's not that I never get fat, but, these days I kind of like, I don't watch what I eat to avoid getting fat. I watch what I eat so that way it can fuel my activity. So it's, that's kind of how I look at it. So it's like a different kind of way of looking at it. It's not like avoid things. It's let's look for things that are going to really suit me well. And then every once in a while on a fun day like today, we'll have some cake. So that's kind of how I approach that. All right. All right. I got one more king cake question. So we'll get one more. All right. Let's do one more king cake question. And I just thought that this was fun, kind of like trivia too. Because I feel like everyone would have known about like the king cake question. But here's something else I turned up in looking up some info for these questions. So before king cakes used the little baby figurines, what were baked into the cakes instead? Any ideas? Yeah, let's see what we got here. While you guys are thinking of answers, what they baked into the cakes before. I mean, this would have been like, before like the advent of plastics and stuff. So like the tradition, it seems, goes back, centuries. So think about like what would have been available like hundreds of years ago. Dr. Josh says nails. Yeah. And it did a different sense of humor right around the Depression era. No. Oh, that's funny. Sean Marshall says, yeah, it's got to be a coin. That's a good guess. Goku Runner saying gold nugget. Stevie 76 says rocks. Oh, man, I don't want to eat cakes at any of your guys' house. Yeah, Spencer says, inside a king cake was a real baby in the olden days. Very funny. Very funny. Yeah, Jeff Elliott says rocks have been available forever. That is true. That is true. Yeah, but some of you guys I think are joking, but you're pretty close. Oh, and someone actually has it. Oh, so a couple people have it. The people that are saying beads, that's kind of close. Although I'm thinking that you're thinking beads because it's like a New Orleans thing. So not necessarily that. Brian probably said teeth. Strangely, I could see that being like a thing. I don't know. I just feel like people were weird, like maybe like 200 years ago, maybe 150 years ago. And so I feel like that could have definitely like been like a thing. Hold on for just a second. Okay. You're going to have to ask mom. Mommy can help you, okay? All right. Sorry about that, guys. But let's see. Who had it first? A couple of people had it. Sean Marshall says, I'm going to compose some trivia music for Tuesday. I would love that. That'd be a lot of fun. That'd be so much fun. But, or maybe I can find some too. But if you guys, if you can like just bang some out, yeah, for sure. I'd rather do that. Who had it first? I think Ryan had it first. A bean. I'm assuming this means a dried bean, but they would put like a bean inside it and it would serve the same exact purpose as the little baby in the king cake. And whoever found the bean was, king for the day, hence the name king cake. And I think I found this on, maybe it was CNN was the source of this one, but they said that, or maybe like a USA Today, one of those kinds of sources. But like the whole king cake thing started out as part of Saturnalia, a winter solstice celebration in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture. So then the bean makes a little bit more sense there. But then again, shouldn't it have been a seed then? I'm not sure. But that's what I got. That's the information that I have. Could be wrong. But yeah. All right, let me get the next one in there. All right. So that's all like kind of the food related ones. So then it'll start to get a little bit just generally like more Mardi Gras based. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's see if we got any other questions or yeah. Anything else going on? Yeah, Martha did say Beanie Babies, and that's close. And then someone said a tiny version of the Cloud Gate bean, and I was like, that's actually very close to being correct. That'd be kind of nice. But then if you had like a little silver Cloud Gate bean in there, that would definitely like break a tooth. And Chris Bailey was close too. Nuts, beans, and peas. Yeah, because that's what existed a long time ago. All right. Someone says they put a king cake inside a king cake. That's funny. And Recycle on Wednesday said bone. I feel like that's something that could like easily be it. Yeah, Martha says in medieval times could be anything. For sure. Yeah. All right, let's get to question number 5 for today. So we've been talking now. We've shifted kind of from like the Chicago punchkis to king cakes and New Orleans. So let's get to like the whole bead necklaces thing. Now it's like out of control and it's like very weird. But like, how, and from my sources, it seems not my sources, the internet searching that I did. It seems like that's something that happened. I mean, I don't know. I've never been to New Orleans, so I can't say. But they say it seems to be something that developed like late 20th century, where it became like more like what it is today, more debaucherous, I guess. But when did it start? And the answer I have is like you could give an answer in the decade. So like when did the whole like throwing the beads or necklaces or throwing things from like a parade, when did that start in New Orleans for Mardi Gras? Jeff Elliott says it was the 50s. Brett Reed saying that it was like summer of 69, maybe. Yeah. And CB76 says, how did the flashing tradition start? I don't know how that started, but like the presumption is that, there's these parade floats and people wanted to get the beads and you had to get people's attention. And that's a great way to get attention, I would think. So, I mean, I feel like that's kind of where it comes from, but I don't know. I'm not sure. That's my presumption. Yeah, so Mark said, so they're not for the purpose of them being perverted and trying to catch a show. Yeah, that's not how it started. That'd be a good one for how it started and how it's going. Yeah, so very, very, very different. Jeff Light says, of course, it happened in 1492. Maybe not quite that long ago, but yeah. Yeah, it started when someone drank too many hurricanes. Maybe the flashing part. Yeah, that could be it. Is it true? I mean, my understanding is that like you could just walk around outside with like drinks in New Orleans. Is that true? I feel like you could do that I've done it before in Vegas because I've been told that that's okay. That you can just walk around with your beers outside. But is that true that you can do that in New Orleans? I feel like that is. Or if it isn't, no one's really gonna do anything unless you're out of control, kind of thing. All right. I think Goku Runners got it. A couple people have got it. Dr. Dress says 1776. It's a little early in the U.S. for a Mardi Gras celebration in New Orleans. I'm not sure. I don't know how far back New Orleans goes. And Jason Dahl says, yep, it's open alcohol. So I guess you can just walk around wherever. I feel like they have, I remember hearing stories in college. But, you never know if these are like real stories or not. People are like, yeah, there's like drive-through daiquiri. There's like drive-through hurricane places. You can get daiquiris or hurricanes. Like there's a little hut with a drive-through lane and it sells 2 things. And you can just get them in your car and drive off. I was like, that seems like a problem. But yeah. Yeah. Ryan Loma says, Michigan State University allows you to open carry drinks. Go green. That's funny. Spence says, regarding walking with drinks outside, I know you can do it in a small section of downtown here. They had to get permits, but built an open container block. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. And said Goku Runner says, you just have to keep a cap on the straw, so it's not an open container. But then, like, can you just then, like, not say I would encourage drinking and driving by any means, but like, if you really wanted to get around that, couldn't you just like take the thing off, take a sip of your drink, and then put the thing back on the straw? I mean, I don't know. It seems like an easy workaround there. Yeah, it's strange. All right. Let's see. Running Addict wants to know, is the Nike Invincible run ever coming out in the US? I don't know. I haven't gotten any updates. I haven't seen any updates yet. It's promising that it seems like they're starting to ship in the UK. I feel like some people have gotten theirs. Ed Bud got his, right? I thought I saw him get one. So like if people are getting them in the UK, then hopefully that means then soon the US will get two. The UK's been getting everything before the US lately. It's just been, I mean like awesome for them, but I'm like, hey, can we get them at the same time maybe? But you know, I guess if you got to do a staggered global rollout, you know, I'm okay with that. All right, so let's get to answer that question. The answer that I have for this question number 5 is it started in the 20s with the Rex Crew, Krewe, the city's oldest social club. And their colors of purple, gold, and green, which stood for justice, power, and faith, have come to symbolize New Orleans Mardi Gras. So that's why those are the colors. And that's how it started. And then I think they said that it's, you know, they did beads and they did coins and other kind of like things to throw. But I feel like, you know, maybe it's circled back to beads and has become something very different than what it was before. Yeah. So a little bit more history on the Mardi Gras. There was a time where I was like, I really want to be able to go to like a Mardi Gras celebration in New Orleans. That was like a really important thing to me at one point. And now I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to lose a lot of sleep if I do that. I don't know if I'm going to want to do that anymore. So now I just want to go and eat the beignets. I'm not a huge fan of coffee with chicory in it, though. And I think that's a big thing in New Orleans. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's not a good idea for me to go down there because I'll be like, can I get some good coffee? People will be like, what, sir? I feel like that might be a problem. Sean says, I think I'd rather just watch it from those balconies. See, I think that's probably the way. I mean, for me, as like an older dude now, is there like a day drinking? I mean, I guess I'm assuming for Mardi Gras, the whole thing is day drinking. But I'm like, is there like a day drinking version of that? Because I love the street festival in Chicago. One of my favorite things is they usually start around noon, and you know you're out just like in the street, and they mainly close it off, and there's vendors and there's all sorts of stuff, and you get your friends together. Food vendors, beer vendors, drink vendors kind of thing, live music, and you just kind of hang out. I love those. My favorite part about those, I mean, this was before I had kids and we used to go to them a lot. Now with kids, we don't really go to them that much anymore, but you know, you get started early and then like you'd leave when you needed to eat dinner. And then I'd be exhausted and be in bed by like 9 o'clock. And I'd be like, and then I would sleep it off till following day. And I'd be like, oh, I feel great. So I love that. I'm like, I want like a old dude version of Mardi Gras, I guess. I guess that's what I'm saying is that I'm an old dude. All right. Les says, I messed up the message on the super chat, but I posted it in here, FYI. All right, let's see where did it go? Let's see if I can't find it. Bill Christensen said, though, about the Invincible run on Nike US, it says it's coming soon. All right, so hopefully that means it's gonna get here soon then. Martha says, we saw in a recent Shark Tank, someone invented drink covers for women to prevent men from slipping drugs into their drinks. More useful than the fake golf club for men to pee into. I would say for sure that's way more useful. Definitely. Yeah, you know what I was thinking about Shark Tank the other day. I think with a lot of people traveling less for business, like for work, you know, I bet that the Shark Tank viewership has plummeted. Because I feel like the only time I ever watch Shark Tank is when I'm traveling. Like that's the only time. Like if I see a Shark Tank at home, I'm like, there's like a million other things I'd rather watch. But if I'm at like a hotel and like I got to do some work and I just want something on in the background, like Shark Tank, I was like, ooh, Shark Tank. I don't know if you guys are like that too. That's how I am. Denning 76 says, walking with drinks outside. In the UK, that's called Tuesday. Is that true? You can just walk around outside with your alcohol? That's nice. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that big a deal. That's the thing. It's not that I'm like, if only I could walk around with my beers outside, then I'd be really living. I'm not like dying to do it, but it just seems like a very strange thing to like be very strict about here in the US. All right, let's see. Chicory. Someone asked a question about chicory. Chicory is spelled Chicory. Let's check this comment off real quick. Where'd it go? I don't know who's the one that asked like chicory. Where'd that go? But chicory is something that, what does chicory taste like? And Brett Reed said chicory. That's the correct spelling, chicory. Chicory, it just tastes really bitter. And so here's my understanding of chicory. Chicory is something that they started introducing or grinding into the coffee during World War II or World War I, during one of the wars, Great Wars. And it's because like coffee beans were at a shortage and they wanted to send them over to the troops so that they could have their coffee. And so it was used to cut the coffee and make it extend it and last a little bit longer. I just think it tastes really bitter and it feels like something's wrong with your coffee. You're like, you drink it and you're like, well, what's in this? There's something wrong with this. It tastes a little bit like there's dirt in it or something to me. But in New Orleans, it's like a big thing. People particularly love to have very, very strong coffee with a good chicory taste to it, with the beignets. And I guess that makes sense because the beignets are like super puffy, sweet and fatty. And then you got like something that really bitter in the coffee. So I could see how that would go together, especially like on a very hot day, if you're drinking like a hot concentrated bitter beverage or something very flaky and puffy and sweet. So yeah, so I think it works for there, but for me, every time I've had it, I'm just like, I don't like this. Les, I'm trying to figure out where that message is. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I was looking up ahead for it. Where did it go? I'll do another quick look. And then someone asked me about hammer nutrition. I saw that. I just want to get to that. Yeah. So it doesn't. I can't scroll up anymore. But yeah. But here's this comment from MCM. It says, "Have you ever tried hammer nutrition yet? They're more known among cyclists, but still awesome gels and hydration mixes for all endurance, in my opinion." I don't think I've tried hammer nutrition. I've looked at it a couple of times. They sell gels. At one point, I thought I bought some, but I never ended up trying them. Or if I have, I don't remember eating it. So I've tried, I think I've looked at the gels before. And then, I'm only really now starting to dive into more of like the drink mixes. I've never been all that like intrigued by them, but I'm right now spending a lot more time thinking about like recovery drinks, like drinks to drink after the workout, like either immediately after or throughout the day after a workout. So I'll be taking a look at some more hammer stuff soon, but I haven't done a deep dive into them yet. So I'll be getting there. All right. Let's see. Ben Y says, the drinking age in Scotland is 18, but everyone starts at 13. Is that true? It seems, I want to say that seems pretty young, but I feel like practically speaking for a lot of people in the US, it's probably not that off. Yeah. Recycle on Wednesday says, I just opened new shoes and they sell super strong. Is that a thing? I don't remember it happening in the past. I think it is a thing. I don't know if they're doing something to make that smell stronger. I could have swore I saw, and I'm not sure if it was a gag gift or an actual gift, but I swear I just saw something, either it was on Instagram or Twitter, a candle that you could light that smells like new shoes. I feel like it could go either way. Is that, like, what do you guys think? Is that a real thing or is that a gag gift? Is that, or like a fake ad? You know what I mean? Like a joke. I could be convinced either way. Avalon Journey wants to know, did you order the Salomon Pulsar? Sold out in one day online. Is that the recyclable shoe from Salomon? I'm not sure what it is. So I didn't buy it, but yeah. Oh, okay. Jeff found it. Awesome. Thanks. Says, rarely catch this live, but thanks for the content this last year. Your voice is both therapeutic and soporific in a good way. Awesome. Well, thanks, Les. And thanks, Jeff, for helping me find that or bringing it to me. Because in my ability to scroll up, it kind of stopped going back after a certain point. So thanks so much. And thanks, Les. Hopefully you're still here to hear it. But thanks so much for the super chat. And thanks for those kind words. It's really nice. And I got to tell you that, my students have been telling me for a long time that my voice puts them to sleep. So, and that I take kind of like the wrong way, but like people have been telling me that in the live stream frequently, and I don't take it the wrong. I take it like, I feel like as a compliment that it's intended for, because I know for a lot of people, they're watching this in the evening time, like before they go to bed. And so like, I feel privileged to be part of like people's kind of like evening routine. I feel like evening time is pretty precious time. So for people to invite me into that, I feel pretty honored. So thank you so much. All right. Let's do the bonus question while we're here. So here's the bonus question. And is Shannon here? I don't know if I saw Shannon here, but I feel like Shannon will know this one. But all right. So a lot of other cities have their own Mardi Gras celebrations, like especially a lot of places along the Gulf Coast in the U.S. and the South. But they're just called Mardi Gras celebrations. So other places also call it Mardi Gras. What is it called in St. Louis, though? It's not called Mardi Gras. It's called something else. Anyone know? I didn't know about this except for the fact that what happened to my camera? I lost the camera. Did the battery die on it? All right, let's see. You guys just keep bringing in. I'll switch over to my webcam on the laptop. Ugh. See, it's not as good, but at least I'm here. So, what do you guys call it? What is this? 1904. Invincible. Jeff Elliott says Louis or Louis Gras. That's kind of close. It's kind of close. You're on the right track. It's the right idea. Brad Reed calls it the dumpster fire. Martha's Carnival. Carnival would be a good guess. A really, really good guess. Slide on. That might help a little bit too. All right. Scott says, I should know that's where I lived when I got the baby and the king cake. Oh yeah, you should. I mean, I don't know how big of a thing it was. It started becoming a very big thing, or seemed to like it was getting bigger and like gaining traction during the time that I lived there. And I feel like we moved out of St. Louis maybe in 2004. So I don't know what's happened to it since then. But all right, I see we do have the right answer. Brad said nothing good goes on in St. Louis. I don't know. I feel like when my wife and I left St. Louis, I mean, we were just dating at the time, but when we left St. Louis, we were like, this is a great town, but it's starting to feel a little bit small for us. We weren't married, we didn't have kids. And then like, since then, now that we have kids, and it's just like, we don't really like, go out like all that much anymore, Now it's like, I don't know. St. Louis seems like it could be a really good place to raise a family and live down there. And the weather is much warmer. I mean, it's not like it's hot in the winter there. They still have a real winter, but it's a lot more bearable than the winters are up here in Chicago. George Monroy wants to know, is there a place where you would like to run and explore? I would really like to be able to explore some of the national parks and explore them on foot by running. So like that's something that I would love to be able to do, to go on like a running adventure, preferably like a multi-day, kind of like some sort of Sherpa expedition. So like that way I could run and carry what I needed to run. And then when I got to somewhere, there'd be like, a pot of beans and some tortillas ready for me to eat, like at night, like that kind of thing. I don't know if like those kinds of running adventures packages kind of exist, but I would love to be able to do something like that. I think there's a couple of things like that. I don't know if there's any that go through the national parks, but a lot of the Great American, I guess the West, like from the Rockies to a little bit west of the Rockies, I just feel like there's a lot of great open expanses out there that I feel like, could really be experienced well on foot. So that's kind of what I would love to do. And Jody says, they call that ultras. Yeah, I mean, yes. But like, I'm not talking about an ultra so much as I would like to be able to do kind of like a run club, or like, I mean, basically I want city slickers, but a running version of that. Like you go when you're middle-aged, like I am, with your buddies, like my buddies are, and then you go for like a week and you pretend you're a cowboy, but instead you pretend that you're an ultra runner, and then we'll run every day for like 5 or 6 days, and we'll meet Curly, and I'd be the guy starting like the coffee grinder in the middle of the field in the morning, so that's kind of like, I think that'd be great. But specifically, a specific place, I'd love to do like the rim to rim in the Grand Canyon, just because that's one that's well known. But like, I think that there's probably also a lot of other ones that are probably a little bit more manageable for my skill level that I think I could really enjoy as well. So I just think that like the American West, Southwest has a lot of opportunities of places I'd love to explore. All right, so to the answer, who had it? I think it was it. Someone had it earlier on. It was, I want to say, was it MCM? Tab Hunter had foie gras. Really close. I see what you did there. It's close. Yeah, MCM had it. Soulard. So they call it Soulard Gras. Soulard is a neighborhood down closer to the brewery. Really fun place to live in, a neighborhood that I really enjoyed in some of our later years living in Chicago. But yeah, there's a parade that goes through there, and there's a Soulard farmers market. So like, just like a nice like neighborhood. Very different from like a lot of other St. Louis, where a lot of St. Louis had experienced a lot of urban sprawl kind of thing. But this had a very like older city kind of charm to it, and so I really did like that neighborhood quite a bit. And Soulard is a neighborhood that held this Mardi Gras parade, and so they call it Soulard Gras. Now they call it the Soulard Mardi Gras. It seems to have like, because people didn't quite get it, but Soulard Gras. That was it. And I haven't been to a Soulard Gras in probably about since we lived in St. Louis. So that's going to be like 17 years now. Oh, my 20-year, speaking of a long time, my 20-year college reunion is this year. Crazy. I'm sold. All right. Mark Chankoko says, just had pancakes. Still going to go to Taco Tuesday. Awesome. Well done. Very cool. Jody says, when this pandemic ends, I'm planning to do rim to rim to rim after I do Mount Fuji. You can run Mount Fuji? Really? That can't be it. Whoa. I just watched on Disney Plus. There was this like 3-part documentary on Japan, like Japan's like the nature of Japan. And the first one talked about the island of Hokkaido. And I didn't realize Hokkaido was an island, or that Sapporo was on an island on Hokkaido. But anyway, they looked at a lot of them. I didn't realize it was such wilderness to the northern part of Japan. But that sounds amazing. Tab Hunter says, didn't the City Slickers cattle ride end in Colorado? I'm in. I thought it did. Did it end in? I thought it was like Oklahoma to Colorado, or Colorado to Oklahoma. Wasn't that it? I thought that was the route. I don't know, but like, well, Martha says yes. Japan is an archipelago. Yeah, yes, but I didn't know that Hokkaido was an island. I thought Hokkaido was just a region on one of the many islands. So that's kind of like, I guess, the distinction. Yeah. So, but Martha says all of Japan is gorgeous. I mean, it certainly looked it from the way. I mean, the thing that I really appreciate about Japan, having never been there, but like, especially it really came to light in this documentary that I was watching, is that there's just this immense natural beauty, and also like very structured grid layout of cities. So like, there's just like kind of like the randomness of nature, and then like the orderliness that the Japanese are so good at, and like it's just smashed next to each other, and I just love that. It's awesome. All right. George Monroe, he says, hopefully moving to Chicago next year. Any advice? Excited for the running views. Advice for people to moving into Chicago? That's a good question. I'm not sure. If you're a runner and you're moving to Chicago, though, the advice that I would give is consider joining one of the running groups. Whether it's 3Run2, Kara, Chicago Endurance Sports, Heartbreakers, like there's a whole bunch of them that are out here. But I would think about and try to find one that's kind of more that meets more in your neighborhood, because you'll get more out of it that way. But I feel like that's a good way if you're looking to meet new people as you move to Chicago. That's a really great way to do it. So that would be kind of like my main thing. But the running views are great. So looking forward. I hope you're looking forward to that. And hopefully I'll see you at some point out here, George. All right. I think that's a great place to leave it for today. Tomorrow morning's video is going to be... trying to think what tomorrow's video is. Oh, Pegasus Trail to Gore-Tex after 100 miles. That video is going to come out tomorrow. And then in the afternoon, we'll do another live stream. It'll be Wednesday, so just no subject, just hanging out. Hopefully I'll see you guys again, 3 p.m. Central Time, same as today. In the meantime, be safe and stay warm out there, everybody. Thanks, everyone.